So a couple of weeks ago, I had posted a video titled More Rumors of Wars in 2026, but the end is not yet." So in response to that video, somebody had made a comment saying, "Everything between Revelation 1:1 and 22:20 restrains the imagination to the first century for fulfillment, including the millennium period. These verses are like bookends to Revelation, and all of it has been fulfilled by Jesus Christ, and the prophetic office ceased. We are not in any end times or last days." Okay. So now, in my studies, what I have found is that this is nowadays, especially, this was not commonly taught in 20, 30 years ago, but lately this has become a great a doctrine or a teaching that has found a foothold, that the Jesus' second coming is behind us, that all the events of the Bible have already been fulfilled, and somehow or the other we are living in a post-millennial period, which is called the little season of Satan. Okay. I think that's what this person is referring to. Now, it's easy to make a comment, but it doesn't give you any evidence as to why the person would think like that. Okay. If they are that convinced that it is, perhaps you should be able to explain it. And, why not make a video or, do a blog or something and teach us so that we can understand why a person holds this viewpoint. But so far, all the people that have been talking about this, all the evidence that they have presented, it has been faulty. I've not been able to find one person convince me that this is indeed true. So now in my studies, I've come to the conclusion that the greatest deception of the end times is going to be in regard to the second, or the timing of the second coming of Jesus Christ. That when we closely look at what Matthew is teaching, and especially in the book of Matthew in chapter 24, what Jesus was teaching, it is that the deception that he warned us time and time again, it is in regards to the timing of his second coming. He says, people are going to deceive you into thinking and believing that his second coming is premature, that either he has already come, like Paul thought, that the day of the Lord is already behind us. People are already teaching that in the days of Paul. Okay, so this is not a new heresy, it's a very ancient one. And this is what Jesus kept repeating time and again, that the end is not yet. Don't go out in the desert if people tell you I am here. And then he went on to give us some clear, signs to look for that will actually prove to us that when his second coming is close or is imminent. So I just want to once again look at some of these verses of scripture from Matthew, and then, I would like to emphasize, at least to my viewers and listeners, that deception is going to be in regards to the length of the tribulation, that it is going to be longer than most people expect, that it is going to be a period of 40 years or so in which this world is going to suffer catastrophic destruction and loss of life, that these events have not yet been fulfilled. Yes, wars happen, people die, all that happens throughout history, but not on a worldwide scale. Okay, we really haven't had a worldwide scale event since literally the days of Noah, but that is coming now. Okay, that these events that Jesus prophesied, they concern the whole world, and the whole world is going to be buffeted. It is going to be, catastrophically attacked, you could say, and it is going to be a time unlike anything that any of us can imagine. So I'd like to begin with again repeating that this deception stems from everything trying to be compressed into a 7-year period of time, because it is commonly taught that the tribulation, so-called, is going to be only 7 years long. As I have proven in several teachings, the tribulation, as a matter of fact, is going to be closer to 40 years long. And because people do not expect it to last long, their love is going to wax cold, and they are going to turn away from God, and they will blame him for all the problems or troubles that are going to come upon them, as they do upon the whole earth. So as we read in Matthew chapter 24, verse 3, the disciples asked Jesus some questions. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, "Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Okay, so the questions are quite specific, which I've again discussed in detail in my Oliver Discourse teaching, Matthew 24 teachings. So there are hundreds, literally like maybe 50 videos or more on this chapter alone that I would refer to understand in depth what these questions are and what was Jesus' response. So before Jesus began to tell them what the signs would be, or what to look for, he said something in verse 4. He said, Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. So first of all, he gave them a warning. Okay, he didn't give them any signs, he gave them a warning. And verse 5, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Okay, so when people go onto these, you make YouTube videos, or they talk about Jesus is coming, etc., in the pulpit, in churches, and wherever they might be discussing this topic, whose name are they speaking in? They are speaking in the name of Jesus, right? Oh, God showed me this and that. The Lord has given me a prophecy. People always come in Jesus' name. Oh, the rapture is going to be on so and so a day. It's almost at hand. But what did Jesus continue to say? Okay, that this is going to be, the deception is going to be in regards to my coming. He said, however, before I come, many things need to happen. What shall we begin with? Verse 6, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So he said, okay, so we are going to begin by telling you that you are going to begin by hearing, not actual wars, not actual pestilences or anything, just the hearing part, okay? You'll begin to hear about these things. Have you been hearing a lot about wars? Have you been hearing, that the U.S. is attacking Iran, and that, Russia and Ukraine, and now Russia is going to nuke Europe, all that? These are all wars and rumors of wars. But what is Jesus' conclusion about the beginning of these events that relate to the end of the world? He says, but the end is not yet. So again, people are putting the cart before the horse, and they're telling us, oh, Jesus is here. Oh, these things are happening, so the end has come. But Jesus said, the end is not yet. So again, the deception is in regards to the timing of his coming. When will it be? Okay, it is not yet. It is just not possible that he's coming tomorrow, because all these events that are prophesied to happen, no matter what, like that person that made the comment that they already happened in the first century, how a millennium, 1,000 years can fit into 1 century. I don't understand, but people don't think deeply about these things, okay? But you stay on God. You take heed that these events have not yet happened, okay? And if I lie to you in Jesus' name, I'm the one that are going to have to answer for it. But with all my heart, I beseech you that these things are not yet happened, and they are still going to be another 3 decades or so before, if we are living in these end times, that these events will be all fulfilled. So the end is not yet. All right, so let's keep reading in Matthew. It says, for nation shall rise against nation. Now, after he said you're going to have this hearing part, where you'll just be hearing of these. It'll be in the news reports. It'll be on CNN, on Fox, everywhere. They're going to be talking about, oh, these wars are coming. Like when we had our fellowship meeting last week, Johannes from Estonia was telling us that people are talking about building bomb shelters, because the media just keeps hyping it up, that these wars are coming. Okay, so this is just the hearing time right now. But after the hearing phase is over, what did Jesus continue in verse 7? And he said, for nation shall rise against nation. The verb in there is shall. Shall is a definitive. Okay, it doesn't leave any doubt that, it may. He didn't say nation may rise against nation. He said they shall. So these rumors and the hearing of wars is going to actually then transform into some real events, okay, including some major wars, what you might call World War III. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. The phrase in there that we need to pay close attention to is that this is going to be in diverse places. So Jesus basically told us that these events, these judgments from God, as we read in Jeremiah, that God's usually when judgment comes, it begins with like these 4 judgments that God sends. One, of course, is the sword, which is warfare. Then there's hunger, famines. Then there's disease, the pestilences. And then, of course, there are some natural disasters, but not the kind we have seen so far. They're going to be of a much greater scale. Something like the flood in Noah, that they're going to be that destructive. Okay, so then he said, yes. So then the sorrows, and in verse 8 he says, all these are beginning of sorrows. So he said, first you're going to hear of a time of sorrows, then the actual events are going to come, and those are going to be the beginning of the birth pangs. So the birth pangs actually begin by first hearing of wars and rumors of wars, etc., and then are the actual events arriving, and then that whole period, which corresponds to Revelation, the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verses 1 through 8, which is the opening of the first 4 seals. That's the time of the beginning of sorrows. And what is the operative word in verse 8 is the beginning. That these are just the beginning, okay, not the end of sorrows. And if there's a beginning, there has to be a middle and there has to be end. So there's lots more to go. What does Jesus continue to tell us? Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. Okay? So have you been afflicted and killed right now? No, it hasn't happened, has it? No, but, this is something that's prophesied to happen, and it will. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yes, I understand hatred is building towards Christianity and Christ, primarily through the agency of so-called Christian nations like the USA and Canada, etc., who are very anti-Christian in reality. So, but it is not yet at that time that we are being hated of all nations. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. So this is what I told you. There will be a time of chaos because of hunger, famine, diseases, warfare, etc. People's lives become destitute, and then they begin to seek their own survival. And even if it means, putting an end to someone else's life to save themselves, they will. And then what happens? Many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Here we go. Once again, Jesus warning about deception. And what is the deception? The deception is that this is, maybe you could call this part after the beginning of sorrows, the middle part. Okay, this would be like, for example, the time of the trumpets, the time of persecution about which we read in Revelation chapter 7, where a whole multitude is martyred and they arrive in heaven. Okay? And then, of course, we continue on into chapter 8 and 9 of Revelation, that it is the time of the trumpets and those judgments, which are even much more catastrophic than the ones at the time of the seals. But is that the end? No. So what's going to be the deception? False prophets promising relief, promising deliverance, promising salvation, saying, oh, I'm here, I've arrived, Jesus has arrived. That's it. It's over. It's over. But it's not over. Okay? You still got a long ways to go yet. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And why did the iniquity abound? Again, amongst Christians, for example, because they believed in the 70-year tribulation lie, and they didn't understand that God is warning us that it's going to be an extended period of time, that you're going to require patience, and patience possess your souls. Jesus warned us in the book of Luke. And because people expect instant deliverance because of, like, through the pre-trib rapture, for example, and it doesn't come, then their love is going to wax cold. And why do they expect that? Because of all the false prophets and teachers that have taught them nothing but lies in the so-called church. But he that shall endure unto the end of the same shall be saved. So did he say he shall make it through the beginning of sorrows, he'll be saved, or even the middle? No. He said you have to endure unto the end. The end of what? Either the end of the tribulation or the end of your life. One of the two is going to come. Either your life is going to end first, or you're going to make it all the way through the tribulation to the end of their time. In either case, you have to endure unto the end without being deceived into believing that the end has already come, when it will yet to be far from the end. If you look at the book of Revelation, chapter 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all those events have yet to happen. They've not happened yet. And people will keep telling you, oh, it's over now, the tribulation is over, that's it, it's done. Won't be. So that's the deception. that Jesus will not yet have come, and everybody will be promising deliverance, saying he has come, or he has arrived, or he's here, or he's there. No, don't believe that, because we're going to get to the final sign that Jesus gave us when we will know for certain that it is the time of his coming. Until then, in patience possess ye your souls. All right, so let's continue reading. In verse 14 it says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. This gospel preaching is Revelation chapter 11. It is not what your local pastor or missionary is preaching. It is going to be a specific preaching of the actual gospel, not a twisted version of it by the two witnesses in Revelation chapter 11. And after what happens after Revelation 11, the Antichrist comes. Then you can read that. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them be which in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world unto this time, no, nor ever shall be. So Jesus has gone through the beginning of sorrows. And then he went through the middle part. He's saying, you're going to be afflicted. They're going to kill you. And then he continues on and telling us that, these events are going to continue to intensify. This tribulation, as the birth pangs of a woman get, closer and more painful, the closer she gets to the time of delivery, that's what's happening with the world, okay? This is why when you read the book of Revelation, it begins, you could say almost mildly, although nothing mild about it in the time of the seals, but as we get into the trumpets and then later into the time of the vials, etc., it is like the intensity of those judgments. It is just like unbelievable. None of us can even imagine what it's going to be like. And that's what he's telling you, that, yes, it began with the beginning of sorrows, then it intensified, but then this is the time we're going to get into the tribulation becoming mega. The word great is the Greek word mega. For then there shall be mega tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be. Did he say in any of these times that we have been delivered and we've been taken out of here? Or that he's come and raptured us out? No, nothing. Do you read anything about it here? I don't, right? And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So do you think there are going to be some elect left on the earth at this time when the tribulation becomes so great that men's hearts are going to fail them for fear, seeing the things that are coming upon the earth? Right? Who are the elect? They're still here, right? So again, what was the deception? The deception was Jesus is coming. He's already come. The millennium has already happened. That's it. It's all over. No, my friends, it's not even begun yet. Okay. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. And there's plenty already saying that, and there's going to be way more in those times. For then there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect again. So the elect are here. If the elect were not here, who were they going to deceive, right? And why? What is Jesus teaching us here? He's teaching us what to look for. That'll prove to us that his coming is at hand. He said, until you see that, do not believe anything. Do not believe the end has come. Do not believe the tribulation is over. Do not believe that deliverance has arrived. This is going to get more and more intense, just like the birth pangs of a woman get more intense the closer it is the time of the delivery. Behold, I have told you before. What has he told us before? That I'm not coming yet. Okay, don't fall for it. That is the great deception that these deceivers are going to deceive you with. Like that, guy that made the comment that, it's all over. It's all happened in the first century. A whole millennium, 1,000 years happened in 1 century. You know what I mean? It's just insane. Okay, behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Believe it not. What did he tell you? They shall deceive. I have told you before. Believe it not. He has told you this twice in 23 to 26. Twice he said, believe it not. What do you not believe? That he's here, that his coming has happened, or it's right at the doorstep. He's coming tomorrow, or he can come any minute. Don't believe it. The great deception is about the timing of Jesus' second coming. Now we shall see the unmistakable sign that until this is seen by the elect that may be alive in that time, do not fall for it that Jesus is here, there, or in the desert, or in the secret chambers, or anywhere else. He will not be seen on the earth until his sign is first seen. All right, let's finish the study on the great deception by continuing on reading in verse 27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. What happens with lightning? Lightning is something that is a very, very visible and powerful phenomenon. And as we shall see, Jesus is going to show some sign, not on the earth, but up above, where no man or no devil can reach and show such a sign that will indicate that his coming is now at the doorstep. So up until that time, Jesus said, don't believe it not, do not be deceived, do not follow the liars, do not look for me on the earth, don't look for me in the desert, in the secret chambers, anywhere. It is not yet the time of my coming, okay? Until you see what I'm telling you now, don't you believe it. It is get to that time, and then shall your deliverance come. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. This, of course, is the time of Armageddon in Revelation chapter 16 and into 19, where the kings of the earth and all the armies that gather together to do battle with Jesus, they are going to be destroyed and fed to the birds. So you see how far we have to make it before this rapture event actually occurs, before Jesus' second coming actually takes place. And the so-called rapture and the second coming, they are separate events, no doubt. Okay? The gathering together of the elect is my preferred phrase, not the rapture, because gathering together elect is in the Bible, but the rapture is not. But the second coming and the gathering together of the elect are very close in time. And when do they take place? Immediately after the tribulation of those days. So this gathering together is a post-tribulation event. It means that all of the events up until the time of the Antichrist and such will already have been fulfilled, and then shall this gathering together take place. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. So what is Jesus doing here? What is God doing? He's setting the stage. He's warned us that don't be deceived, don't believe the liars, don't believe that my coming is at the doorstep, don't believe that I've already arrived. These are all false and lying teachings. Because when I come, I'm going to show you something which is going to be a sign that is going to be so unmistakable and so powerful that no power in heaven or on earth can duplicate it except for God. What is that sign? First of all, God sets the stage by turning the sun off. Okay, God has a switch that he can turn the sun off, and he turns the moon off, and the stars shall fall from heaven, which means that the stars are not giving their light either. So the whole creation up in the heavens is totally darkened. Okay, it's like when you go to a theater to watch a show, or a play or something. The theater is dark. Okay, and then the light shines and the curtain opens and the play begins. Okay, that's how it's going to be. God is going to set the stage, and then he is going to lift the curtain. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Where shall the sign of the Son of Man appear? Up in heaven. Jesus said, look up, for your redemption draws near. Not on the earth, look up. That's where that sign will be seen. What is this sign? Why, God gave us a hint in verse 27, right? As the lightning shines from the east even unto the west. It is going to be some type of light. It could be like lightning that just covers the entire heavens, that they were darkened and now they're covered with light, like the bright light that is above the noonday sun, something like what the Apostle Paul saw on the road to Damascus. Or it could be a star because the stars have already fallen, the sun's not shining, the moon's not shining, and then shall come the star of the morning star. Who's who? Jesus. It's going to be a star like the star of Bethlehem. When the wise men who were watching and praying, they saw it and they knew what that represented. And same thing with us who will be watching and praying. That's the whole purpose of watching and praying, that we're watching for Jesus' coming, not on the earth, but up above. And when we see that sign, like the wise men did, then we'll know that he's here. And we will not have been deceived. Okay, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So before Jesus descends to the earth, he's going to be seen up there. Okay, his whole entourage, the host of the armies of heaven, they are going to be. It's like when you watch some Hollywood movies and they show you these armadas of spaceships or something like that, aliens coming. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be spectacular. Something so unreal in a way. There's something that we have never seen or we can never imagine, that it is something that'll, take our breath away. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Okay, not just a secret, silent coming like they teach you. No, even the gathering together is going to take place in a great, visible, and loud event. The elect that are still on the earth at that time, they are now going to be caught up. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. Is this silent? Is this secret that Jesus just came and cut you away? Really? Did you read any of this happening before anywhere in Matthew 24 here? No, because it doesn't happen until after the tribulation. Okay? And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, just like in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16, 17. The trump shall sound. It's not going to be silent, this gathering together. It's going to be very loud. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So his elect are scattered, not just on earth, in one end of the heaven to the other. We don't know the size of God's creation. We don't know where all his creatures are, but he's going to gather them all together. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that the summer is nigh. So he said, these people, these false prophets are giving you all these signs. They've given you all these teachings that, Jesus is here, he's there, he's everywhere. He can come any minute. He can catch you up, while you're sitting in the toilet or something like that. You know what I mean? That's what they teach. But none of that is true. Okay? Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know the summer is nigh. So springtime, you see flowers begin to bloom on trees, and then you know that the fruit is going to begin to form, and it'll ripen over the course of the summer. That is a sign that shows you that summer is near. So it is only when we see the sign of the Son of Man up in heaven, can we see his power and great glory up there already, even before he lands on the earth, that we know that it is the time of the second coming. That is an unmistakable sign that cannot be duplicated, and that's why believers cannot be deceived if they will understand what the scriptures are teaching. Okay, so likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things. What are all these things? Everything that he's been speaking about from verse 6 onwards, about hearing of rumors of wars, about the actual events of wars, etc. coming, about the coming of the two witnesses, the Antichrist, the persecutions, the killings, all that continuing on and on and on. When you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. What's even at the doors? What's at the doorstep? His second coming. Okay? Including that part which we call the rapture. Okay, that event is going to take place, in my opinion, no more than about 45 days or so before he actually lands on the earth. His sign shall appear. He shall gather together his elect, take them up to be with him, caught up into the clouds, as we are told. Then they shall all not go up to heaven like these false teachers teach you. They shall be up in the heavens above the earth. but then they're going to land back down to the earth, and I believe that is going to be a period of time of some 45 days or so, no more than 75 days, based on some information we read in the book of Daniel, which I'm not going to go into it here. But you see, they're very close together. Yes, they are separate events, but they are also very, very close together, not years and years and years apart. And so he's saying that, what's at the door? He says, well, my sign is at the door, that, you have seen it, that I'm here now. I'm going to gather you up, and then I'm going to come back to the earth. So my second coming is at the doorstep. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. What generation? The generation that saw the beginning of sorrow's time, that saw the sorrows begin, will be the same generation that will be around to see the end, which means that, a generation is a period of 40 years or so. He says, okay, so all these events that I'm teaching you, they're going to be concluded within a period of roughly 40 years, just under 40 years, because this whole generation shall not yet have passed away, like the generation of Israel passed away in the desert, and I will return. So now he has taught us, he has shown us, he has given us all the information we need, and if we are still deceived into coming up with these strange doctrines that everything was fulfilled in the first century, then you will have to bear the consequences. So I hope what I've taught you here is from Scripture, and that you can see that this is the truth, and this is what we wait for, this is what we watch for, this is why we don't become deceived into believing that Jesus' coming is imminent until all these events have transpired, which they have not even yet literally begun to be transpired, okay? So thank you very much for listening, my brothers and sisters. God bless you all, and I pray that the eyes of your understanding will be enlightened, and that you will be able to see, so you'll be able to discern between truth and error, and not fall for the lies of man. But Jesus said, take heed that no man deceive you. These deceptions, they come from men who teach in churches, who teach in Bible colleges, who teach on YouTube. They are deceiving you. And most of them, I would say, are deceivers. But if you read the Scriptures, you will not be deceived. God bless you.
Come, let us return to the Lord. Has torn, but he will heal us. He has wounded us, but he will bind us up. He will revive us. He will raise us up, that we may live before him. Let us follow on to know the Lord is going forth, is as certain as the dawn, and he will come to us like spring rain watering the earth. So let us know, let us follow on to know the Lord is going dawn, let us return to the Lord. Come, let us return to the Lord. Come, let us return to the Lord.